So the first thing I will always look at that most young players think scouts always evaluate players both based on skills and tricks. Of course, if you have those skills and tricks, they are a little bit of addition. But the main thing scouts look into a player, the first thing is your first touch. So when you're playing football, as a young player, this is what you have to learn. Your first touch is very important for you. Your first touch is very important. And what I mean by that is when you get the ball, play with 1-2 touch. Don't try to complicate things at the beginning. At the beginning of maybe in the if you notice a scout is actually looking at you, the best thing you always have to do is play simple, make it 1 touch. When you start getting into the game, before you can do maybe your tricks, but the main thing is not that's not the main thing, because in a game of football, the most important thing is how you keep the ball. You don't lose the ball, then before you can take risk. So scouts always find what is his first touch. I bet you most majority of scouts, when they go into a game, the first thing they always look at is his first touch good? Can he play in tight spaces? Can he turn? Can he do all those things? So they don't actually look at your skills, because most of the time a game is 90 minutes, and most of the time you're not going to dribble past people. The ball is played is how simple the simplicity of the game. Most of the time is quite simple, and if you make the better decision in those time, is quite actually great. So most of the time, these are the things that you're going to be evaluated on. So it's not about really tricks, because tricks you're going to use it few times. You're not going to be actually dribbling past people many times. You might do that 3 to 4 times in 90 minutes, but most of the time when you touch the ball, it's going to be pass and move, pass and move. So those are the things that you have to work on and see that scouts try to look at this. That's the first thing. The next thing I see also is mentality. So your club, the club you're playing at, can be losing, let's say 5-0 to a team, can be losing like 5-0 to a team. And then you are still having a mentality to turn up. You are not giving up. So scouts actually notice those kind of things, that what is the mentality of the player. So they do notice what is the mentality of the player. Is he after playing after like 3-0 or 4-0 up, is he still up to it, or is he like, oh my god, I cannot, like his mentality gone? Scouts look at this a lot, because in football games you're going to lose. Whether you're a player, no matter how good you are, you're going to lose a lot of games. That's just part and parcel of the business. But what really keeps you going is your mentality, to stay strong and still wanting to go despite the result, because most times these days players play after every like 3 days, 3 to 4 days a week. So that's quite normal. That's very important for scouts when they are looking players, because it's an industry that people make a lot of money. So scouts also are doing the job, because if they don't do their job, they get sacked. So if you're a parent to a young player, I hope you're listening this, because this is actually very meaningful to scouts when they're looking after your son or daughter. Okay. And then the next, let's see. Okay, the next thing also, understanding game space and intelligence. So how to play, when to play, and how to interpret space. That's very important. This is actually one of the very important moves. For example, when to move into space to receive the ball and turn and play ahead. So if you have a player who is, let's take for example, has skills a lot, but doesn't interpret space well, it's quite hard for agents also to really look at him. The best players that agents often look at are the ones who can also interpret space. What I mean by that is, a player can have the ball, then your the players who interpret space move into a place that is very easy for them to receive the ball and turn and play ahead to help their team out. So these are the kind of players that agents are always looking, players who can create solutions or solve problems for the teammates. So this is quite important also. And it's important that you also know that these are aspects of football that they are actually very important, rather than just having box of tricks and then not doing anything with it. Okay. And then the last thing also, of course, the data. Before scouting you have to also know that now in world football, there's a lot of data. So the data plays into it. After watching you, they also have to go into data to see what are your stats. I remember a story from one agent talking, not one scout telling me that he went to watch this player, but he went to watch a player. He was with his wife, but actually the player he went to watch, he ended up signing another player, and but his wife, who was not an agent, was actually telling him there was a player there that the player they went to watch was Kifu, and he scored 2 goals. But he didn't end up signing the player. He ended up signing the person who had these attributes, or what all these things I'm telling you: learning how to interpret space, turning and playing ahead, playing on one touch, moving into space. Even when the team is losing, he's trying to drive the team forward. So those were the things that the agent actually took into consideration before signing the player. Whereas the player that he wanted to sign actually scored goals, but the agent said his reason he didn't sign that player is that when he didn't have the ball at his feet, he wasn't interested. He just actually he just wanted to wait for the ball to come before he was alive. When the ball was not at his feet, he wasn't bothered tracking back. He wasn't bothered really coming into partaking in the play. So, of course, he scored 2 goals, which is the most important thing in football. But he said it turned out to not be his style. That's not the kind of player he wanted in his team, because it almost like a lazy player. And yeah, the situation ended like that. So you have to also know that as a young player, these are the aspects that agents are always looking for, or scouts, when they're looking for players, these are the things they are looking for. Okay, so I hope these few tips help you if you are a young player, and also if you're a parent. I hope this actually help you people. Some information here. I'm always 9:30 p.m. Eastern European time on live, answering questions to people. So if you're interested, you can come join my channel. Take care and bye for now.